So I was in the shower, I was cleaning my ass and making all shirts all sparkly, spanky clean.
I'm not the funny one, I'm the pretty one.
Cock shots. I just checked myself out.
Candles, music, wine, and then lube up and get on top.
The glory hole's like a big theater. I've imagined your family.
Which means your pants had better come off. Mama needs playtime. I do that.
We're not sluts.
We just love love.
Hello, folks. How you doing today?
This is Mrs. Adam.
And this is Mr. Adam. And we're doing an odd one here this time because we're actually recording from our bed. See, listen. Those are covers.
Sexy covers.
Sexy covers.
Yeah.
But not. It's unfortunately not one of those podcasts. This time we're doing a blast from our past. We recorded this, gosh,
it's been several months ago now.
6-8 months ago with Blue Steel and the Lady. You'll know that it's in the past because we talk about things that have now happened and hadn't happened then. Like, spoiler alert, Mrs. Adams' nipple piercing.
Yeah, that happened. That's awesome.
So we, due to some minor surgeries that have been going on, we decided just to grab this one from the past. We had forgotten about it after we recorded it because of alcohol, and we decided to cut it up and post it over the next couple of weeks.
It is a long one, so that's why we decided to split it over 2 weeks. So hang in there. You'll hear the rest of it next week.
Yep.
But we had Blue Steel and the Lady over one night, and while they were here, we pulled out the microphones and we recorded a whole conversation about our body image issues and our opinions thereof. And
yeah. And they're our opinions. You don't have to agree with us.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. Sit back, take a listen, and you'll hear the rest of it next week.
Hello and welcome to By the By. Mr. and Mrs. Adam would like to advise this show is not suitable for persons under the age of 16. It contains sexual references such as extramarital activities, group sex, oral sex, anal sex, puppy piles, and pegging. Minors should be escorted out of the room, and if you are easily offended, go watch Channel 9. For the rest of us, sit back, loosen your pants, and dive into By the By.
That is my favorite thing, maybe ever.
Thank you, Blue Steel.
Holy shit balls. Do you feel that, people? That's a Band-Aid being ripped off. Mm-hmm. Okay, is it hot in here or is it just you?
I can get back to my normal voice now, thanks. Hello, everybody. Welcome to By the By.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that was our very lovely introduction by Blue Steel. This is Mrs. Atom.
This is Mr. Adam, and...
And that was live by Blue Steel, by the way.
That's right, live and in person, and holy shit balls.
Yeah.
And we also have L0L Lady here with us this evening.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, L0L Lady.
Who I can
So
only ever think of
soft
as
and quiet.
the Lady.
So demure.
It's funny because I'm looking at our levels here, and Blue Steel and I are like boom, and then you're like boom, and then L0L Lady's like hello.
It's because I'm a lady.
Right.
We all know better than that.
Bullshit.
So this is a much anticipated podcast. We have two of our most requested people, the people that we have many people ask questions about. Mm-hmm. The illustrious welcome back L0L Lady as our second, our first second guest.
Yay.
Which is odd to say, but you're our first second guest.
Excellent. I'm glad to be
First
here.
repeat guest. There we go.
There you go. That makes sense. And then Blue Steel, the illustrious Blue Steel.
Hi.
Our listeners have heard a lot about you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. I hear you mention me going, oh, God.
Yeah. And all of our bathroom wall is just littered with your number and.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. That's why I wonder why I'm getting all these unknown phone calls.
I keep calling you.
I don't go block.
Hi, Blue Steel.
Block. No, it's just kind of funny because, like, as I said, we talked before about the T-Rex story, and And while I lived through it, and it was, at the time, it was like crying with laughter funny, because it just occurred to me, and just like while the three of us were fucking, like, then we just stopped and were rolling about the bed laughing, and then went back to fucking.
Yeah, but you didn't say it because you thought it was funny. You said it because you wanted...
It just came to mind.
Yeah, it came to mind. You're like, this is what...
Because I wanted a hand job, for fuck's sake.
Oh my god, I love it.
Come on, man, Jesus.
And as I recall, it wasn't just a hand drop. This was the classic rusty trombone.
Oh, yeah. I know what I like.
Yeah.
So for those of you, let's back up a step here. For those of you who maybe haven't listened to all of our past episodes,
Go back and re-download them, bitches.
well, there's that.
Oh.
But there's also we should let people know that Blue Steel was a play partner of ours, and he is very much bisexual, more on the gay scale. So I
wore my shirt for him.
yes,
On Kinsey
yes.
4.
I'm wearing my Kinsey 4 shirt just for you.
Yeah. So Blue Steel, I would say, is 4, maybe 5.
He's probably a 5.
He's probably a 5.
Yeah.
So he was a play partner of ours for a while, and he and Mr. Adam played a lot more, and I got to come into play here and there, but even when I didn't, I got to watch, which was fucking sexy
hot.
as hell.
Watching you...
You were hot. Well, you're also
watching
very
you...
modest.
Okay, what's the chick version? Like, watching you jerk off, whatever, play with yourself, masturbate.
Women masturbate.
Watching you masturbate.
Jam the clam.
Oh, so hot.
I prefer to call it lady play.
Yeah, well, that lady play made that side of the bed really wet. Oh, wow. Have we just gone there?
We did.
We did.
It's amazing.
I'm really sorry.
This is going to be one of those. So, all right.
And then, as you all know, well, maybe not know, from
You should
the
know.
previous episode where we talked about jealousy with the lady and her primary partner, the lady and her partner, they opened up their relationship after many, many years of marriage, like a lot of our friends did. And so they are now in an open relationship and have other partners as well. She's not a play partner of ours, but it's all sexy talk and sexy times with her.
Yes.
And she is definitely not a stranger to the whole open relationship bit. So that's where we are tonight. That's our cast.
Wow, all right.
Yeah, and I've gone back to monogamy land.
I know you
That's
have.
the thing. It's awesome for you. I'm so happy for you, but fuck am I depressed for me.
Yeah, it's. I mean, for me, like it's good. It's fun. Like, I will refer to him, and he'll probably kill me as Sergeant Sparkle, because he's from the armed forces, and he is also what he does in his career.
Oh my god, that's so cute.
It is. It suits him, doesn't it?
All right, so we have
Because he's huge.
Sergeant Sparkle.
He's a big boy, and he's a scary boy, and he could actually kill you.
But
in like
he's
a single
adorable.
strike.
He's
Yeah,
so
he's
cute.
so adorable.
Yeah.
I would drop my pants for him.
I wish he wasn't just gay, because I'd like a piece of that.
Yeah, me too. I still hope to be the cream in your Oreo sandwich.
Oh, I'm working on that.
Tell him that's what I want for my birthday.
Oh,
All right. However,
Sorry.
before we get completely sidetracked,
Too late. We've lost control of this
Tangent.
podcast. 6 minutes in, and we're like, whoop.
awesome.
hello, Mr. and Mrs. Adam. I have a tangent delivered.
Yes. So the topic of the evening is meant to be body image and body image issues and everything related thereof.
And cock size.
Well, that's part of body
But-
image there, BS.
Yes, it is. But and
See?
so we
See
may
what I
get
did there?
sidetracked. I imagine there's going to be 1,000,001 tangents tonight.
Mayhaps.
I'm sorry, people. But the main point is body image. We'll see how well we stay on task. Either way, it should be entertaining. Yeah? No?
Look, that was our longest time of silence. Enjoy it, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, because, no matter how confident you are and how confident we all sound tonight, when we look in the mirror, we only see our own flaws. We don't see each
Yeah.
other's flaws, but we only see our own flaws.
And no matter how
flaws.
you look and how what your
flaws.
reality is and how other people perceive you is always different. And everyone is self-conscious about how they look, and they always think, whether you're a swinger or not, you could be just in a completely monogamous relationship, but everybody looks around when you're on the bus, when you're at work, and you're walking down the street, and you think, how can I compete with that? Especially if you're at a bar or you're at a restaurant, you're trying to meet people, and you see other people there, and you think, how can I compete with that? Because no matter how great you actually look, nobody sees themselves that way.
It's true.
Everyone has body image issues.
Which is funny because when listening to your podcast, I go, I wish I actually look like the way you guys describe me.
But you do.
Oh, come
You just
down.
don't see it.
You
No,
do.
Yeah.
But everyone has their own issues.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Which is, like, I love my nickname. Like, it's so multi-layered. Like, Blue Steel, like, the colour of my eyes, the piss take from Zoolander, and also because the initials are BS.
Yeah.
And,
It works.
and I'm I'm full of shit.
You're the Man of Steel. I mean, it works on so many levels. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like the lady. It's like...
It's a misnomer.
Yeah. She's
No, but
the-
it is perfect because like the first time I met you, I think was at the beach, and I didn't have a shirt on. But it was just like,
I
but you were
wasn't complaining.
but you were the lady, and that's all I can think of you as. It's not even the lady. It's like it's always the lady. but you have that air about you as well.
He thinks you're a lady.
Oh, he's mistaken.
He's wrong.
Oh yeah.
But the thing that I always consider, and I've heard it so many times, is we're all our own worst critic or our biggest critic.
Yeah.
So whatever we think of ourselves, no one else thinks less,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I think you're right. Yeah. So what do you got over there, Mrs. A?
Well, there's a lot of places that we can start.
Let's start at the beginning.
Alrighty then.
Oh, Mr. Structure.
So,
I know, right?
the first
I wanted to
thing...
get all Tarantino on your ass.
Wow, this is going to be exciting.
What, vampires and cowboys?
No, I was
What's
going to be
that?
Mr. Pink.
Oh,
You can be Mr. Brown.
I thought we were going to talk about, wait, who's going to cut whose ear off?
Oh my god. No, I don't look good with a Van Gogh. I don't go to the hairdresser
Or
and
is
go,
it cut off
you
like
give me a
my
Van
body?
Gogh.
No, I do blood well.
We'll
so,
get to that.
anyhow, the one thing that most people, I'm going to say, start with and think about when they're thinking about whether it be you're starting to open up a relationship or swinging, or you're just going out on a date with somebody, period, and maybe even your partner, is hair. So
Give me a head with hair.
not just hair on
Oh.
your head, but genital hair.
Oh, give me a head with hair.
So
Like a little monkey's arm.
Well, that's actually interesting. Like whether you want to get there or not is like in the gay community, like for a while there it was naked, like nothing.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, I find that really repellent. I can't stand waxing. Like
Interesting.
have you waxed?
no, God no.
Ever?
Well, I don't need to because like you've seen it.
Well, yeah, but the ladies and gentlemen at home.
Oh, sorry. No, but like
And the lady over there has it.
I'm practically naked back there. Like there's nothing where people.
Well,
it's just,
yeah, back there, yeah.
yeah.
But some of us have like a small forest. Close your ears, lady.
But you know, but the whole idea of waxing, like I find the whole waxing thing, it's like a man has to be a man, and like I don't know, waxing is.
Do you think
it's different because I've had little people, and so that gives a different
Wait, do you-
perspective. No, not okay.
I just imagine you with tattoo, and he's going deep plane, boss, deep plane, deep cock, boss, deep cock.
Okay, no, your wax ain't shine. I'm not going there. No, but like I've had children in my life, and so like it kind of you just go, oh no, I need you to be a man. Like so, I'm like I have a particular thing.
So
about
you like
waxing.
the hair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like not forest fire, but like, you know,
Shaved
a man's
or how?
trimmed is
Trimmed?
fine.
Okay.
But a man's got to look like a man.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you like that? Do you find
Or
that?
a woman's got to look like a woman. Like
Do you find
I
that
don't like
that's-
Brazilians either.
So do you like hair on a woman in the genital region?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it can be trimmed or whatever,
Yeah.
but like you got to look like an adult.
Okay.
Like
Okay, fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Like
See, I'm going to take the converse to that, which is when I go down on you, I'm not looking to floss.
No. You have to trim the garden, but yeah, like just look like an adult.
Because I know that Mrs. Adam is lasered and she's bare,
Yep.
and sadly I know enough about the lady that and I quote hardwood floors.
Hardwood floors, baby.
Yeah,
but
no-
I'm a swimmer, so there's a lot to be said for a female swimmer to have gear hanging out everywhere. Like,
Oh, that's different. If you
Yeah,
It's a
exactly.
drag.
if you're wearing
Yeah.
You
high
don't-
cut swimmers.
exactly. And that all your training swimmers are high cut. You can't get them
Yeah.
low cut unless they're down to your knees, and that's uncomfortable in its own way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and it's funny because for me, when I'm with a woman, I would say that for me, I prefer and I feel sexier. I'm lasered and I feel sexier that way. The whole reason I did it was because I feel better when I'm clean. You know, and it's a pain to shave all the time, and then you have to like try and time your dates and meetups with people to like get the right amount of growth so you can shave cleanly and not have any bumps or any whatever. And so it was a pain in the ass, and it's like, and I just prefer to be clean, and so that's why I just had the lasering done. And with a woman though, I tend to either go that way, and I don't mind hair if it's like fine, kind of loose hair for some, because most of the women I play with are either completely shaven or, you know, waxed or lasered, or they have hair, but it's very fine, kind of loose, not very dense hair. And that was part of the reason why I got the laser, was because mine's a little coarser and thicker. And I didn't like that. It's a lot harder to shave and a lot harder to keep clean. And so I don't mind it one way or the other, but there has to me, it's almost like there has to be a commitment one way or the other, you know. But I don't want it.
Nobody wants porkies from the 70s.
Right. And like Mr. Adams said, you don't want to floss when you go down there either.
No.
Which is where the fine hair comes in.
Yeah.
So,
You don't want a whippersnipper and have to go search for that thing.
Wow. I love how it
Call the council.
Oh,
clean-up
Lord.
day.
We've just started the body image issue and we're already shaming.
Yeah, you open the underpants and there's someone with like a lollipop sign going, slow, stop.
But I would say though that most of the guys that we play with are shaved. Not all of them. There are some that aren't. But many are at least not. Maybe I shouldn't say shaved.
Trimmed. They're all trimmed. They're all buzz cut
Yeah.
trimmed. I mean, between I would say 2 millimeters and probably 7 millimeters.
Yeah, I don't
but it's
think there's-
even.
Well, look, I got clippers. I go number
exactly.
6.
So let me
Yeah.
ask you this, and this is, I guess, more for the lady. But after you and your primary partner decided to open up the relationship, did how you trimmed or how you took care of yourself, did that change, or has it always been that way?
It definitely did change. I was more focused about it, and definitely more cognizant of it in other people as well. Because I'm now, my personal preference is if there's a forest down there, I'm just like, oh God, really? Because it feels like you haven't made any effort.
Right.
So, and there are a lot
or
of
clueless.
yeah, and there are a lot of guys out there that are very, very hairy.
It's true.
And I don't mind a hairy guy, but just if I have to find it, it kind of defeats the purpose of going there in the first place.
Well, if you have to find it, you don't want it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll make the point too that, and this is for all the guys out there, if you trim that wild, crazy bush, you're going to look bigger.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and that's why I started trimming. It was like, when the bush sticks out farther than your cock does, then you got a problem. So I was like, oh, look, I can see. It's like, oh, look, there's a little man down there in the trees. Like, so I cut down the fucking trees, and now he's standing there amongst a little putting green.
Also, when it's really thick and coarse, it's actually quite uncomfortable.
It's not
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
because it smells. It starts to smell because you sweat, and that hair holds smell.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if you want people down there, you need it to be fresh and clean.
Yeah, and
Yeah, and have a shower before.
hair versus
but-
hair is fine, but hair versus little or none
Yeah.
actually causes friction.
Oh,
Way
yeah.
too much friction.
So, that leads to another question. I know you have, Mrs. Adam, but lady, have you been with a guy that was completely shaved and waxed against your shaved and waxed?
Yeah, and it feels really good.
So you think so? As a guy who's done it with Mrs. Adam, I don't like this like smack. It's like it's smacking. Yeah. Okay, it smells. Or it smells. It's. I don't like that feel. It's like wax or like skin on skin down there. I don't want that. I want a little. I've got a little bit of hair, so that allows me not a cushion, but there's a layer between the two of us. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's what lube's for too.
I don't want to have to lube my
Yeah,
fupa.
but that's very...
Fupa?
That's a little higher up, babe.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a lot higher up.
Yeah.
Do you know what fupa is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And was I the only one that didn't know that?
yeah, probably.
Probably.
Anybody who doesn't know what fupa is, please message me on Twitter. I'll tell you what it is. Secret.
So as far as other hair, then like, and this is more for the guys, for other body hair, like back hair, chest hair, anything. Like, how do you feel about that? And has that changed since you I'm going to say for Mr. Adam, since you opened things up more so, which I know has been quite a while, and then for you, Blue Steel, since you've gone back to monogamy, has that changed?
Well, you guys had your fetish episode, and you guys talked about my armpit thing. Yeah,
I forgot about that, but we still love you. Remember that?
Yeah. No, but, but that's also like, the funny thing is like if you're out in public, like guys' armpits, like it's almost. This is okay. Little key into the armpit fetish. It's almost a secret look at what their ass crack might look like.
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah, because like just hairy armpit. I say, I can just imagine what your ass crack is like. Oh my god, this is so niche.
Not really. That makes sense though.
But it is,
all
because especially if you're a
pubic hair.
gay guy, like or bi guy who likes
never
guys.
thought about it that way.
Yeah, but it's almost like I can see your ass in public. Like it's because that's what your armpit's like. Because if they have a very wispy armpit, or they have a really
Interesting.
bushy armpit, or quite muscular armpit, like it's kind of. Because generally if they're muscular up top, then they'll have a bubble butt as well, and just go, I'm getting a secret look what your ass looks like.
Wait, does that work for me?
You have a nice butt.
Oh.
Yeah, everyone's seen your butt on Twitter.
Yeah, but only a few people have had a close conversation with it.
Yeah, you have an awesome butt.
Tell me more about my eyes. So has it changed now that you're all monogamous and shit?
As I've said, like if we were doing weird science, hello 1980s, like he would kind of be my weird science boyfriend. Like it's almost like I plugged in well, this is why we're together. Like I've dated a lot. It's interesting going back to your numbers episode because we talked about you guys doing a numbers episode. So I did my numbers before your numbers episode. So when you guys were talking about, like, I already had my list, and like it was really important for me to do my numbers because of course I come from straight land, and so I've been out for 4 years now, and kind of came out with a bit of a bang, and racked up the numbers pretty quick. And it was interesting because what I did is I went through all my texts, I went through my particular apps. And photos and whatever, and I had to give a nickname to each one, and I did it in my notes in my phone. I gave a nickname to each one, but I had to have a specific memory as well. Like it couldn't be something vague. Like so, I attributed a specific memory and a specific name, and actually did my list and nailed it down. And I haven't hit triple numbers.
Oh,
I'm
you'll
close.
get there, honey.
I'm close. But the thing is like in the time I did it, because before I was monogamous, I worked it out. Like I was actually having sex with someone new every 2.5 weeks.
That's awesome.
And that's not counting, everyone has a dry period. So there were dry periods of a couple of months where you wouldn't meet someone. So fuck, what does it say for the rest of the time?
We did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And I can remember, I know there was at least 2 weeks when I was still married, air quotes, married, that I think I had 3 guys one week and 4 guys the next. And that was only during a Monday through Friday period because I was traveling.
Yeah.
I mean, I still look at that and go, damn, boy.
But also comes back to like you guys have talked about slut shaming, and there's no slut shaming.
No, I'm not ashamed of it. I mean, I look at it now as almost a badge of honor.
Well, see, when I moving from straight land into where I am now, like I hadn't had sex for 18 months.
Yeah.
With another human being,
How do you do that?
Well, I have great hands.
Still.
No, but it was horrible. It was horrible. So when I sort of first moved out on my own, like I had sex with 12 people in 14 days to start with, and then went, whoa, now I'm going to start filtering. But it was kind of like I would fuck a hole in the wall, and sometimes I would pretend I was. But pretty much I said yes to everything, and then after a couple of weeks, just went, now I'm going to filter.
All right, fair enough.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And then filtered, and then filtered, and then filtered.
All right, so we digressed a bit. I'm the one trying to rein us in. So back to hair. All this is with hair.
No, we moved beyond that.
No, but I'm curious as like chest hair. Not knowing what Sergeant Sparkle looks like, but imagining it many times. I'm assuming he's got a hairy chest.
He does, yeah.
Does he trim it
does
or
he
not?
trim it?
He does trim it. He's like 50s pin-up guy, like hairy chest, a little bit in the stomach, nice armpits, but like no hairy back.
Yeah.
Do you prefer to have him trim it, or do you prefer to have it to like grab onto?
Trim to a certain extent, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you find that you're more lazy now because you're monogamous?
No.
You're still meticulous about your... Because I remember your grooming was meticulous.
No, it's still like that. Like I have chest hair, but it's a bit sporadic, and there's a little bit of grey in it, and I hate that. So I
love it.
So I trim my chest hair like a 1. So there's just like a little fuzz there.
I like your chest hair. I like the little gray to it.
Oh, well, yeah.
Sorry. But we digress.
but like it's like, and you know, and so I trim that because I don't particularly like it. It's a bit sporadic and a bit weird looking. So anyway.
How does he feel about it?
Well, because he got stuck overseas for 3 months and he came back, and I think I had just left it for a while. And he went, "Oh fuck, you have chest hair." I went, "Yeah." I went, "I have never seen it. I didn't realise you had any chest hair." I went, "Yeah."
Oh,
I don't like it. I get rid of it. Yeah. Okay. So, but like down there, as I said, like you just trim because you don't want that shit in people's mouths.
Yeah.
You know, you got to.
So, lady, how do you feel about chest hair on a guy?
Favorable.
Yeah.
Very favorable.
Like long enough to grab onto and
Fuck yes.
Does your current paramour have chest hair?
Some.
Yeah.
Not a lot. And then there's the side guy. He has a lot, but he trims down so it's trim long.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I
so
enjoyed that.
he would be Chewbacca, except he trims it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like chalk and cheese, but I have the best of both worlds. It's great.
I love it. Yeah.
there's an Australianism for you.
chalk and cheese. I'm a big fan of chest hair. Like, big fan of chest hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because is Jack quite hairy?
No.
Oh, really?
No, I know, right? Surprising. He's.
Does he have hairy forearms?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's me. Like I have really hairy forearms.
and he has
and the rest of
forearms
me
like me.
practically bald.
And yeah, that's him. He's really.
And for me, I prefer it to be one way or the other. I either want you smooth or I want enough hair to like, I want one extreme or the other. To me, that's kind of how I am. Which it's kind of weird because in that respect, I don't have a type. But I've been with really hairy guys, and I've been with really smooth guys, and I like one or the other more so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
All right. Shall we move on to genitalia?
Ooh, let's move on to genitalia.
All right. So, being a body image issue, there's all the size issues and whatnot. We could talk probably for hours about that. But what I want to start with is piercings and jewelry.
I can start with this one. So I have no piercings. I would like to get my nipples pierced, but I haven't had the balls to do that yet. And plus, I think most people already know this. I'm type 1 diabetic, so I'm afraid that it might not heal properly. And I've had piercings in my ear before that didn't heal properly. And so now I'm afraid to get my nipples pierced, but I would love to get both of my nipples pierced. Anyway, I have been with a guy that has a Prince Albert, which is the one that goes through goes through the urethra and then out during the bottom. And it was gigantic. And so this was hashtag glory hole. I know, everybody here at the table is shocked.
Yeah, no.
Oh my God, Mr. Adams been to a glory hole?
My favourite quote from the show still is, "I went down on that like a starving man." I seriously, you should have had that in the intro.
We'll talk to Danny about that. But my big issue was I started going down on the guy, and as it's going in, you can't help, you don't realize how much that your teeth come into going down on somebody. And it was hitting the back of my molars, and it was like, okay, I'm going to give everybody this imagination land. So close your eyes, and you're going down on somebody, and suddenly there's aluminum foil in your mouth, and it hits your teeth. And that feeling of that's what happened to me. And I was like,
I thought you were going to say there's a DeLorean in your mouth.
We're going back to the future.
Wow, what a big mouth you have.
Gull-wing doors. So it was horrific. It was one of those horrific times, and I couldn't go down on him.
Did it absolutely ruin the experience?
It ruined the experience,
Okay.
and he wanted
Could you
to go.
imagine getting fucked by that?
Part of me, yeah.
I think it kind of might feel good.
Yeah, I was actually looking forward to that, but I couldn't get past the oral sex, so we didn't move on to the next level. I just was like, he actually wanted to go to the other room, and I was like, no, man, because I can't go down on you, and that's what he really wanted. So I was like, no, all right, next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my story.
No, I have no piercings. I wouldn't want to fuck with it.
Have you had an experience with a male or female with piercings or any kind of jewelry? Because I know there's also
Not genital.
No.
No.
Because Mrs. Adam has her belly button pierced.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
that
cute.
doesn't really count though.
That's cute.
Don't you have, lady? No.
No. I've had been with a guy who had like the one in the taint or the perineum, the
between the balls and the cock.
right at the base of the balls. And I
Is
went,
that
what's
the
the deal
rod?
with that?
Yeah.
Sorry?
That's the rod with the 2 balls either side.
It was almost like a loop earring, like a 16-year-old girl's loop earring. And I went, oh, what's the deal with that? He said, just tug on it gently.
Wow.
Hey, at least you know what he likes.
All right.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that. It just.
I've seen
Well,
that.
as I said that, I said, why? He said, just tug on it gently. It feels awesome.
All
I
right.
went, I don't know. I just like, it works. I don't want to fuck with it.
Maybe it's one of those things that until you experience it, you have no idea.
Yeah, fine. I'm
Yeah.
okay not experiencing it.
Well, I actually, one of the places I live, some of the guys next door were like super straight, really rough guys. And one of them had his nipples pierced. And I'm going, why? What's the deal with that? I said, like, I knew these people got into fights or whatever. I said, what happens if someone rips that out? And he said, the amount of pain it was going in, if it ripped out, like, it would just be negligible.
Yeah, see,
Wow.
that's the other reason I don't want to do it.
All right.
Yeah,
Hashtag no way.
No, I think that was a bit of bravado. But imagine having that ripped out. It would be agony.
No, thank you.
No.
So, lady, any piercings in your past, present, or future?
God, no. Ears is enough.
But what about any partners? Nothing?
No, I'd be too scared I'd actually hurt them by pulling it out or something. Just the whole idea of it makes me feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah, but at
We're
the same-
very piercing vanilla.
Yeah, but at the same time,
Yeah,
aren't you
yeah.
afraid that someone will pull your earrings out? I mean, that same logic is there.
I don't wear them in the bedroom, honey.
Ever? Mm-mm. Oh, Mrs. Adam does.
Yeah.
So I had a bunch of earrings back in the day, but like,
Oh, we know, sweetheart.
yeah, we've seen the photos.
We've
Well,
seen that. The people out there haven't, and they won't. But just imagine.
You had pretty hair.
He has pretty hair.
Imagine a young, handsome man in the 80s with his long, flowing
It was the
locks at the
90s.
beach.
Yeah, but imagine him from the 80s.
Right,
trust me.
right. Yeah.
It takes a decade to get to Australia, honey.
Yeah, and it takes even longer to get out west. No, sorry guys. When I say out west, I don't mean Parramatta. I mean 6 hours west.
like Perth, yeah.
no, not flying, driving.
Oh, okay. But yeah,
Rural
so
New South
imagine
Wales.
the long flowing hair, like, the beach kind of guy, the sun bleached and the tan and all these piercings everywhere.
It was
and-
Bon Jovi without the curls.
No, imagine David Hasselhoff had a baby with Bon Jovi. That's basically you were Hassel Jovi.
I was going to say, pick up any sort of Cosmo from the early to mid 90s, and that was the model. The long flowing hair,
Yeah.
the
You think
shirt
Cosmo or
undone.
Teen Beat?
No, Cosmo. And here's the beach looking guy staring off into the
Almost
into
a
the
little
waves.
Fabio,
Yeah,
but-
yeah. A little bit more down to earth. Yeah.
So I keep thinking that Mrs. Adams should get one of her nipples pierced because the girl likes extreme
I
nipple
love
pressure.
nipple play,
She
yeah.
likes the pain. She
Yeah.
likes the biting and pulling and sucking and clamping and
You'd probably like the
Maybe I
gentle
should do
tugging
it,
of it.
yeah.
yeah.
All right, let's do it. What are we doing this weekend?
I love how you just like fuck it.
I
Let's just do it.
would go in with you, but my nipples are so tiny. Like my nipples are like smaller than
My
most
nipples are
people's
smaller than
Mine are good.
yours.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
For those of you at home, there's a big
Nipple comparison.
comparison going on right now.
So for those of you at home, we're having a nipple contest at the moment. Mr. Adam and Blue Steel have both whipped theirs out.
Yeah, my nipple is smaller than yours.
All right, lady, you're the judge. Whose is bigger?
Pull up your
Whose is
shirt.
smaller?
Pull up your shirt.
All right, lady. What do we have?
You got bigger areolae.
Mr. Adam's areola are probably bigger. I would say Blue Steel's actual nipple
my
is bigger.
sticky out bit's bigger.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
The
Your
knob.
sticky outy bit
Yeah.
is bigger. All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen.
And moving on to the next topic.
All right, seriously. We've lost half of our listenership right there.
Probably.
Maybe we should take a picture and then post it to Twitter of our nipples side by side. All right, Mrs. Adam, what do we got next?
I love a nipple off. I don't think a podcast has ever had a nipple off before.
Challenge accepted.
Do that, the dollop.
We love the dollop.
We do.
Fuck you, cracked. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so the next thing that I want to talk about, and this is a sensitive subject for some, particularly women more than boys.
Ooh.
Periods.
Oh, they go great at the end of sentences.
Yes, they do. However, what I would like to know is I would like to get female versus male perspective on comfort level of having sex while a woman is on her period. Has that changed over time and with relationship statuses or not? Because we talked about this in our last podcast. I think it was the last one, a recent podcast, Mr. Adam and I did, in that we have a female play partner who does not have sex with her primary partner even when she's on her period. It's a very sensitive subject for a lot of women.
Yes.
And so I'm kind of curious, especially to get the male take on it.
Ladies first.
Oh, that's a cop out.
I know, right?
No, I'll go first if you want. I always do. No,
You come first.
Actually, I usually come first, but yeah.
You come multiple times. I usually come last.
It's not
Anyway,
a
doesn't matter.
contest.
It's not a contest. It's not a contest. From a male perspective, like, I was married for a substantial amount of time. No, we didn't.
Ever.
Never.
No, we just didn't.
Was it your lack of interest or hers?
Oh, was consenting. Was pretty much it was just.
Can I ask a more personal question before we go
Yeah.
further? How long did her periods last? Because some people are a day or two, some are like 3 to 5 days. Where in the scale
Oh, she
were
was
they?
3/4 days.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 3 or 4 days.
But you have to also understand is like when our marriage was good, it was very good. Like we'd be not quite the level you guys are. We wouldn't be 2 to 3 times a day. We would be at least every day, sometimes twice a day.
Mm-hmm.
So to have every month to have a 3 or 4 day break was actually kind of cool. But it is more like a pause.
Because then you get to rediscover your hand.
Yeah, but when you come back, it's like, grrr, yes, let's fuck a lot. But you know what I mean. But it's nice to have a break of a couple of days, and I would jerk off a lot, and then you come back to your partner.
Okay.
So in that way, because neither of us particularly liked it, it was just a nice pause.
So you don't really care for it, even with other partners. Since then, like you.
No, it's just it's almost like that's what's going on with your body. I'm not going to interfere with that.
Okay.
For me, it's a respect thing.
Cop out.
No.
That's a cop out. It's not a
cop-out.
respect
Everybody
thing.
has their own opinion, Mr. Adam.
I appreciate everybody's opinion, but that seems like a cop out. Respect for someone's body. I mean, I respect everybody's body, but it's not like the body is closed for business.
Oh,
No,
it
of
depends
course
on
not.
your partner, though.
True, absolutely.
Absolutely, it does.
Because
Yes.
for some people, there's pain and cramps, and
Yes.
that's the last thing they want.
Yeah, it's
True, but
kind of
there's-
like, don't touch me, get away from me. Don't even come in within a meter and a half of me because it's going to hurt.
that how
Absolutely,
you
but
are?
he didn't
Yes,
sell it
yeah.
that way.
Yeah. True, but
Well, but as I said, it was a consenting, discussed
Okay.
thing,
That I can accept.
Yeah, but like there was pain and cramps, and
Yes,
that
alright.
went along with it. So it's like I'm not interested in sex during this period, and I said that's okay. I'm not particularly interested either.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was a consenting thing.
That I can accept.
But as I said, like it was a pause where you would come back with a vengeance.
Yes, and I can accept that as well.
Which
How
is
do
kind
you
of fun.
feel, Mr. Adam, about having sex with a woman on her period?
Well, considering again, much like BS over here, I just like calling you that sometimes. Much like Blue Steel, my first partner but it wasn't my choice; it was her choice. It was like GTFO. She didn't really she had no interest in sex when she was on her period. I always had interest in sex. I didn't really care, but I never had the opportunity. And then I meet you, Mrs. Adam, and I'll never forget the first time we had sex on your period. You looked at me and went, "I hope you like the taste of pennies."
okay, water girl, before you're going to say that, just having a drink.
Copper.
I almost killed the lady.
Do you need the Heimlich?
But I mean, you said that to me, and I was like, I have no idea what that means. And you're like, oh, I just started my period, and I was like, okay, I don't know what to expect, but I won't stop anything.
Let's play the vampire. Let's start.
Yeah, I know, right? And that's what we did.
And that's the thing for me, because now, admittedly, I don't really have pain and cramps, and I don't bleed very heavily, but still, it's there. And so I warn people that, if you're going to go down, you're going to taste pennies, it's fine. But at the same time, I am extremely horny when I'm on my period.
She is.
More so than normal. And so it's like, I want it. And
How are you on the upswing with the ovulation, though?
She's always horny.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't bother, but that.
Do you sorry, I talked about the other side. Do you feel a difference on the other side when you ovulate?
No.
No? Okay.
No. No, it's
The lady, do you feel a difference at that time of month? Because this is a thing that a lot of people talk about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
If
seriously.
you're horny as fuck at that 2 week
Horny
period.
as fuck at 2 weeks, horny as fuck at 4 weeks, but I can't do anything about it because it also is painful. So it's like, oh, I want to fuck, but oh god, don't touch me.
Yeah. To me, I'm not that horny I'm not more than normal at the 2 week mark, but during my period, like right before and during, I'm like a lot hornier than normal. And it's like I can't get enough. And I don't care that I'm bleeding or whatever. So I just warn people, like if you're going down, you're gonna taste pennies, it's fine, it's whatever. And if not, then just expect that when you pull out there's gonna be a little bit of pinkish, bloodish, whatever, something. But it's not a big deal. I don't care and I really want this.
Well, so, and for me, I gotta be honest, the first time we had sex, when you were on your period, I had no idea what to expect. Because being a boy, I had no idea what that actually meant for a woman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, on textbook, sure.
Even being married.
Yeah, because again, we should tell the story about the first time I watched Mrs. Adam put a tampon in. Nothing is more disturbing than watching a woman put a tampon in.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, right? But I knew from a medical science book sort of way what it meant to be on your period, but I didn't know like physically what it meant. What did that actually mean? And so there's a few times after we had sex and pull out, and you look down at your junk and you're like, oh look, there's a little bit of clotting. I mean, there's little clots. I was like, oh, that's weird. You're scabbing up from the inside.
And even now, like, it's because I don't always really know, my periods aren't very regular, and so I don't always know when it's going to happen. Sometimes I kind of know and I can tell it's coming, but I may not know exactly.
Are you on the pill?
I have IUD.
Oh, right.
She's got an IED. I keep waiting for it to explode.
No, but I don't always know when it's going to be. Like I said, I sometimes have hints and clues that it's coming, but I still never really know exactly.
It's more a very natural cycle.
Yeah, and so sometimes we'll be having sex and he'll pull out and it's like, oh look, apparently I'm starting now.
Yeah.
No, whereas in my life it actually synced up with the full moon.
Oh.
So I knew it was coming because it was full moon.
Interesting.
How useful would that be though?
The full moon?
No, being synced like that.
It would be useful if you're trying to plan trips and things if you actually care. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't either. And I didn't realize I didn't care until she and I started having sex on our period.
But if you do care, then it is a little more important, and I guess that's something to keep in mind for any swingers out there, or people that are interested in it, is that if you are, if you do care about having sex during your period and you don't want to, and if you're regular, then great, that's awesome. But if you're not, then maybe you should look at something like the pill to get you more regular, so you can plan play dates and going to swingers clubs or things like that around your period.
We've gone on trips with people that stress has called spotting, which has prevented play. Yep. And that's I get it. I understand it. I understand from the concept, but at the same time, I'm sort of like spotting. Everybody,
who cares?
All women do it at some point.
But some people, it does really bother, and that's okay. If you're not comfortable with it, then you're not comfortable with it. But I think that, at least in my experience in talking to people, I think that women stress about it a lot more than men do.
Yeah.
I think that men actually care a lot less than women. And every person is a little different. Yeah. But I think that it's that whole thing where you build something up more in your head that without that communication with your partner, it may be a bigger deal than it actually is.
As you guys always say, communication is key.
Yeah.
Is if you discuss it openly, are on the same page. If you hide it, if you're embarrassed about it, it's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
You talk about this stuff. I mean, you should be able to, with your primary partner or with your close play partners, you have to be able to talk about stuff. And you have to go, I don't like this, or I do like this, or like a thing like this is actually a turn on for me. And so
there are men out there who find it really erotic to have sex with women on their period.
Well, you talk about the pregnant thing. Like you love having sex with pregnant women.
I do. I love pregnant women.
I love pregnant women.
Oh God.
And I've been through that 3 times. And
lucky fucker.
Like, but it's.
I want Mrs. Adam to get pregnant just so I can play with her, and then
I'll be a surrogate mother for somebody.
Mail the baby to somebody.
I don't want the baby, but I'll be a surrogate.
No, yeah.
But as you may have heard, like some women, especially in the 3rd trimester, get really horny, and just like.
Oh yeah, we've seen that firsthand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I heard your story. It was one of your podcasts. But it is interesting going there, just going, am I banging on someone's head?
I don't ever worry about that. I'm not big enough for that.
Going, ow, ow, ow.
Hey. But you know what? Well, never mind. That's a bad thing.
No. The public want to know.
I was going to say that would be the child's first threesome.
Yes. If there's any podcast, if there's any potty, there's a potty mouth cast that can go there. It's this one. This show is not advisable to people under the ages of 16. If you're easily offended, go and watch Home Improvements now.
Wait, I can't believe you said that.
Yeah, you went there. It's awesome.
Well, we have joked about that. It's like that child's first sexual experience was with 7 people.
Yeah.
With 6 people and 7. Oh dear God.
Moving on. We're all burning in hell.
Oh yeah, but that's where all the cool people are. There's a highway to hell and a stairway to heaven.
Yeah.
I'm too lazy to climb any stairs.
Oh God, heaven would be boring as fuck.
All right. Shall we move on to the meat and taters of the
let's move
body
on.
image
Wait,
issue?
Let's move on.
There's meat and taters?
There's meat and taters.
These meat and taters.
Okay, so when we talk about body image, we've talked about hair, we've talked about genitals, we've talked about periods, all the kind of easy entry things.
Wait, it gets harder?
Yes. Yes,
Or
it does.
not.
That's true. It may not. But what people generally think of when they think of body image issues is size, shape, that type of thing. And whether you have scars, if you have stretch marks, if you have
Cheek stick scars.
I mean, if you have like saggy boobs, it's just everything. And so people always think about that, and how does that affect your perception of yourself, of your partners? What do people really think of you? And so I guess the first thing in talking about that is, have any of you had any kind of surgical or otherwise body work done?
No.
Have you had anything done?
No, well, aside from putting my arm back on and building me an elbow, no.
That doesn't count.
No, it doesn't count. No, nothing cosmetic.
All right. Have you? And I've had the laser
The
done.
lady shakes her head, said no, because this is a blog, or a podcast, not a
It's
vlog.
a video.
Yeah. So the lady says no. I've had laser done in the bikini genital area.
Okay, that's true.
Oh,
I've had laser
hair
done on my
removal.
neck and chest and some of my stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I count that as hair removal, though.
But it still counts.
It counts, it does.
It still counts.
all right.
Have you-
But nobody's had anything else done.
I've
No,
had,
I'm not kind of interested in nips and tucks or Botox or anything. Like, the funny thing is coming into contact with like the education system. Some teachers have Botox, and I have been sitting there watching like a woman in her 20s who like has really bleached blonde hair, and I'm looking and going, "What's wrong with your face? I can't pick it because they're talking and the top half isn't moving." And as I'm halfway through the conversation, I go, "Oh, Botox, right?
Gotcha.
That's why you look so weird." And that's from that perspective, like looking at someone who has had a beautiful, outwardly beautiful / Barbie person who is actually quite repellent. But you know what I mean? But it's
Yeah,
like,
I know what you mean.
like-
I know exactly what you
like
mean.
textbook beautiful, but actually in person quite repellent. And
Yeah.
just go, oh, now I know why your face isn't moving. And I'd hate to do that. Like I have wrinkles and lumps and bumps, and I have grey hair, and like you have to own it.
Yeah.
And if you own it, then you can work with it.
And that's what I tend to think as well, because for me, I mean, we have play partners that, everybody's on a scale somewhere, on the attractiveness scale. But there are some of our play partners that if you saw them walking down the street, you may not pick them out, or you may not say, hey, that's a really gorgeous person. But if you know them, then they're absolutely beautiful and absolutely gorgeous. And I think that the personality can sometimes, if there's some attractiveness there, and let's be honest, there has to be some attractiveness. But if there's some there, then they can become a lot more attractive when you add the personality and you get to know the person as well.
I refer to it as the
Mr.
shine.
Adam, would you like to say something?
No, go ahead. Say a thing. I'll
No,
say
so
my thing.
I refer to it as the shine. Like some people shine, especially sexually. Like
Yeah.
Who are you, Stephen King?
No, yes, I know. The shinning.
The shinning.
Because confidence can be...
It's incredibly
Key,
sexually
yeah.
alluring. One of my friends, is when we get to this other topic, I will talk about him in a different way, but one of my friends was in the Navy, and he was married, and then it broke up, and he was bi, and we were we were skaters. Like, we would skate and then we would skate and then we would fuck. But he had a girlfriend who was an Italian woman, who you wouldn't say was textbook attractive, but she had this sexual allure. She acted in that particular situation much like you do. She was kind of on the side in it, but kind of on the side, but also really getting off on the whole vibe of the thing. And where you wouldn't say she was textbook attractive, she shone. And she was incredibly sexually energetic.
Is it the confidence, or was it...
Just because she was enjoying the situation so much. So her physical appearance didn't matter.
Yeah.
And the fact that the way we responded to her was more from the way of how she felt and how she acted. Like, she was a beautiful woman, where she wouldn't see herself walking down the street like that. But in that situation, as I said, she shone. And it was incredibly sexy.
Yeah.
Lady?
I can't remember what I was going to say. I know some people are very sensual, and it doesn't matter how they look or what they do to themselves. They carry themselves in a certain way that just draws your attention. And you can't look away from them because they're confident, they're happy, and they don't give a flying fuck what anybody thinks of them because they know they're the shit.
They accept themselves for who they are. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's easy. I find myself on two sides of a similar coin. I get what all y'all are saying, but at the same time, it's, you know, I can say this for Mrs. Adam and Blue Steel especially because we've had a sexual relationship. But it's easy for you to say that it's, you know, it's like, it doesn't really matter and blah, 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 because you guys are both gorgeous. I look at Blue Steel especially, because I look at him and I'm like, he's the guy that I would like to be. You are muscular, you're toned, and talking about body image issues, I know I have serious body issue images. And being type 1 diabetic and having the scar tissue on my arms, the scar tissue around my stomachs, it's different though. And Blue Steel just looked at his arm because he's had reconstructive surgery on his elbow and forearm. But it's different because when you're naked, you're just you. When I'm naked, I still have, you know, the insulin pump site. So I've still, you know, on a lot of our Twitter photos, I edit that out. You know, so, and it's not necessarily shame that I have about it, but it's definitely something that I don't like. It's the when
Do you edit it because you think that people don't expect to see it, so you don't want to just draw attention to it?
It's not that. I edit it because I hate it.
Okay.
I don't do it for the public. I do it for me.
Yeah, because you don't see that as you see it as a necessary part of yourself, but you don't see it as part of your soul.
Exactly. It's not who I am.
I can understand that because you're not hiding it. It's just you don't feel that is part of who you are as a person.
But it goes even a step deeper than that. So, you know, now I have a way to test my glucose that's on the back of my arm. I hate wearing that thing. It's about the size of an Australian 50-cent piece. It's an Australian or an American 50-cent piece. It's a disc that's on the back of my arm.
Not quite that big.
If I'm going to a sauna or if I'm going to get a massage even, I don't like it on. When I'll only go and get a massage when it's time to change my insulin pump site. So I'll take that off and I'll go au natural, air quotes intended, so that I don't have to explain that to somebody. And, you know, I go back to the, you know, you guys, I'm not saying you have it easy because I understand that all of us look in the mirror and see issues. But, I mean, Blue Steel especially, you're toned, you're sexy, you're well hung, not so that you're terrifying, but, you know, I don't know. I just look at that, and Mrs. Adam, you've got that what every woman desires. You have the hourglass figure, big tits, big ass, small waist. You're petite. You have a flat stomach. I'm just saying that
gypsy princess is how I would describe. If I talked about you, I'd say describe you as like a gypsy princess.
Yeah, and so I've seen you both naked, so I can't say that, lady. Thank God, I love you, girl, but I don't want to see you naked.
I don't want to see you naked either, but I've seen your ass. Stop making me take pictures of you.
I've seen your ass so many times.
She really has. It's traumatic. But I don't know. I feel like that, and I know this is the crux of sort of what this podcast is about. I look at you two and say, you have no reason to have any confidence issues.
But you have to understand, like, it takes a lot of work. Like, I'm not a gym bunny, like, but it takes a lot of work because I'm in my 40s, and like I don't look like most guys in their 40s, but it takes a lot of work. So, I mean, even without, without being an obsessive, like I'm certainly not like 2 hours in the gym every day and rubbish like that. But it takes a lot of work and a lot of being careful. I mean, yes, genetics play a big part.
Right, but that's the point. You can go to the gym and get toned and change. There's nothing that I can do, and that's my problem. I think that's the crux of my issue is that there's nothing
much prettier than you give yourself credit for.
There's nothing I can do that makes myself.
You can't get rid of the insulin pump site. You can't
I'm
get
not
rid of those
perfect.
scars.
Yeah, and then but beyond that, like I look at the size of my junk. There's nothing that I can do because we talked about earlier. So have you had any work done? So my next question for everybody at the table is, if you could have work done, it doesn't cost you anything and nobody ever knows that you had work done, what would you do?
The magic bullet.
What the fuck is that?
Like the lantern, the magic lantern. Like if you could actually,
I don't know what that is.
If you could have a wish, Aladdin. If you could have a wish,
okay, no.
If you could rub the magic lantern and have a
I
wish.
was thinking magic bullet. Where do I get one? And how much vibration does it do?
The lady's like, I don't care how much it costs. I'll do it now. I don't care who knows. I'll do it now.
There is still that white sex toy sitting over there, which I have not asked questions about, and I've actually thought of it as the magic bullet since it's sat on the table.
It was going to be the talking vibrator. But
Yeah, our cock of talking is back there. But if you could have something done and nobody would ever know, and it costs nothing, what would you have done?
I can totally answer that one.
Go ahead.
My first question would be, what would be the thing that you notice about me first on my face? Do you guys see the scars that I have?
I see your smile. I think you have a lovely smile.
Exactly, but I see my scars. So that would be they would be the two things that I'd change. One I've had since I was 4. The other is a new development because I'm hopeless and got a little cross and broke some stuff.
No, that's interesting because I only ever see like scars on people's faces as
Exactly.
character.
Yeah.
Like
So
I mean,
there
is like there's a Cherokee saying like
perception.
they will check your scars at the end of the path.
Yeah.
Like they the great God will read your life in your scars.
Well, this is why I was thinking while you were talking about your insulin pump site. Yours is covered by clothing. Mine is on my face.
Isn't that funny? God,
Yeah.
I would never have picked up.
I would have
it's
never.
just character.
I see your scars occasionally, but it's like I always see them like when you're smiling. So I always see them as positive things. The only time I've ever noticed your cheek scar is when you smile.
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
Because it looks like a little love heart.
and then I'm like,
I look like a Care Bear, literally.
But do you really hate it?
I have had it since I was 4. So, and when I was younger
probably
and
grew up
thinner,
self-conscious
it was
about
quite
it.
noticeable. It looked like I'd been shot in the face. So
wow.
Oh, but it was discoloured.
it was deeper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and as I've gotten older and my face has filled out a bit, it's less obvious.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Mrs. Adam, what would you have done?
To me, it's a toss-up. And again, it's not, and Mr. Adam's going to make the face when I say this, but one of the things is, and I would never actually do it in real life because of how it's done, I can't imagine, I just can't. But I would say just a boob lift. I wouldn't want a boob job. I wouldn't want bigger boobs, but just, pull up a little bit. And it's not that they're really saggy at this point, but I think about
Later in
years
life.
from now, yeah. But I also know how it's done, and I just can't subject, no, I'll just take saggy boobs, it's fine, thank you. But the other thing that I would say is I have some stretch marks on my ass, like on the sides of my ass from when I was a teenager and I first grew my ass, and it just happened very quickly. And so you get stretch marks. And I mean, nobody else ever says that they notice them, but at the same time, I see it. And even when I try to get a tan, and you go out in the summertime and you just I try very hard actually not to get too much sun.
Because the marks don't tan.
But they don't tan.
Ah, right.
Yeah. And so but again, it's not, I'm sure nobody else really, really notices it, but I do. And that's the one thing, when I look at myself in the mirror, particularly from the side, I don't
just have
notice
them taken
it.
away.
Yeah, I would just have them taken away.
So you wouldn't alter the shape, you would just have those
just the
taken
marks
away.
gone. Yeah.
And
How
all
about
of a
you,
sudden
Lucille?
you had a sexy line for every sexy thing that you are.
Yes. Oh, I like that.
Lightning bolts of sexiness. Yeah.
I love it. That's great.
I pretty much I would just have the time to have work with 6 months with the Commando from that fucking TV show. Number one, because he's hot, and number two, because he would look amazing when you finish. But I love the process as well. I wouldn't want a magic thing or a magic surgery, I would want the process of working 6 months with like a trainer like that who would just fuck you over. And hopefully afterwards.
I'm sure you would, yeah.
yeah. See, with his glasses off, he's
Yeah.
But yeah, like the more I would love the process and have the time and the money to do something like. But it's also, I do know it is unsustainable. The Hollywood body, like another podcast I listened to with like Will Anderson, Charlie Clausen, he recently did.
Yeah.
He did the body challenge, but his trainer said to him, "This is unsustainable. You will get a Hollywood body and you will have a Hollywood body for 12 weeks and then you will pull back to something more normal.
Yeah.
You cannot look like that." I mean, people...
It's like Wolverine, like what Hugh Jackman
but
does.
Hugh Jackman is, like, he's very open about the fact is like,
Yeah.
he would, because he's quite a very slim, thin
Yeah.
guy. You know, he's a Broadway guy.
Yeah.
And to become Wolverine is like incredibly stressful on his body. So he would go up and he would go back down to his normal thin
it's
self.
crazy.
But now at his age, he can't go back anymore. He has to train at that level. So he's pretty much said to
I actually
Fox,
find...
you have a time limit. This is my last Wolverine movie. That's it, because I'm too old to do this shit.
I actually find him a little more attractive when he was a little smaller. I
do
like
too.
him
He's
better
more
that
attractive
way.
in Boy from Oz than he
Yeah.
was as Wolverine, personally.
Yeah.
But
But he would say that as well. I mean, it's also
But it's also the role and the part.
Yeah, absolutely.
but Chris Hemsworth openly mocks the fact of what he has to do to become Thor.
Yeah.
And he's actually talked about Chris Evans, like they're at parties where Chris Evans wants to corner him and just go, "I want to talk about his routine," and Hemsworth just going, "Oh God, it's the last thing I want to talk about. It's my job. I don't want to talk about
Yeah.
how many chickens died to give me Thor."
that's great.
So back to the original question, Mr. Adam, what would you have done?
So that's unlike the rest of y'all. I have a whole list of things I want done. I want a full body makeover.
Functioning pancreas?
Functioning pancreas would be awesome, but barring that, the scar tissue across the stomach I'd like to get rid of. All y'all are gonna roll your eyes. I'm gonna roll my eyes for the for the folks at home. I have a muffin top when I wear tight underwear or tight jeans, and that drives me fucking nuts. I would love to have the injections into the cock that make your cock bigger. Don't make that face, Blue Steel.
Are we excluding pain from this whole magic?
No, I'm
magic
willing to
thing?
suffer. I am willing to suffer the pain to make myself
be
look
beautiful.
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I would love to have, much like Blue Steel, the time to focus, but I have the time to focus on making myself go to the gym. What I don't have is the A, money to go to the gym, or B, someone to motivate me to go to the gym. So Mrs. Adam is not a gym bunny. So she would tell me, she would be more than willing to say, get up out of bed and go to the gym. But I need somebody at the gym to say, all right, buddy.
Stop sitting on your ass.
Stop sitting your ass and do this.
probing.
I need that. I would love to have that.
What's interesting about that is that when I was single, I went to the gym almost every day,
I'm a bad
probably
influence.
5 or 6 days a week. But the thing was that I would go first thing in the morning. And then once I have a partner, then we have sex in the morning. And it's like, well, then I don't want to get up and go to the gym. And, and if he's not going to get up and go to the gym, then I'm not going to. And I'm good if, like Mr. Adam, if I have a partner to go, then I'll go. But if my partner's sitting at home, I'm going to be home with them. I'm not going to go to the gym.
Yeah, but we're also not talking Hollywood bodies. We're just talking
I want to be toned.
Right,
healthy.
right.
Yes, I want to be toned.
But the problem
but
here is that it's just so expensive, especially for both of us.
The other side of
It's
that,
extraordinarily
Yeah.
expensive. I mean, I did it for 12 months. It was a killer.
and my motivating partner cannot be my primary partner.
Yeah.
So like Blue Steel, if it was you, absolutely, I would show up at the gym every day. Even the lady, if it was you and you said we have to show up at the gym every day at 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and we have to work out. That's it. But as soon as Mrs. Adams says that,
Interesting.
I'm like, shut up and just go down on me. I mean, that sounds horrible.
No, I understand what
But
you're saying. Yeah.
I don't want you.
That's interesting.
It's a
'cause to
different
me,
mindset.
You
To
can't
me, it
motivate
doesn't
me.
matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't motivate
Yeah.
me. My motivation has to come from outside of my primary relationship.
Interesting. No, to me it doesn't matter, and it's almost better if it's my primary relationship because that's the person I want to spend my time with. And so if I have to leave them to go to the gym, then I don't want to.
And see, that's the thing.
Ooh, that's
Gym
interesting.
time is miserable. I hate gym time. I don't enjoy these people who go, I go to the gym and I feel so good about myself. And I'm like, oh man, God, this is great. Fuck that. No, I go to the gym. I hate the gym. Now, when I leave the gym, I always feel good about myself. But I don't want to be that guy at the gym and look at you, Mrs. Adam, and go, you made me do this.
But see,
Even though
I understand.
Even
that,
though
yeah.
I want to be better
That's
for myself.
That's why you could do it with me because you just go.
Yeah.
You could go home to Mrs. Adam and just go. Blue Steel fucked me over today. And
Yeah, I hate that guy.
Pissed off.
Yeah.
And you go, but I can't wait till he takes me again.
Yeah, exactly.
And bullies the shit out of me.
And that's the thing. With you, I can handle it. And when you set up our exercise routine, every day that I did that, I was cursing you, not her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just has to be a balance with your life.
Yeah.
You have to fold it into your life. It can't be what your life is about because then you hate it.
Yeah.
I feel like the odd one out. I love going to the gym and to
Freak.
the pool.
The pool is fun. Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, see, like I'm a long distance runner. Like I love it. Like the endorphins.
It's
and the
the you
dopamine.
time, isn't
Yeah,
it?
and see, but I also
it's
because I have
quiet.
Runkeeper, so I have this American woman yelling at me every
Yeah.
5 minutes, and and I have to.
I
keep
do
up
too.
that
I
pace.
married her.
But I love that, and I really enjoy it. Like sometimes, and if you don't do it, like you go, okay, I'm going to go and have a bad run. I'm just going to have a bad run, and you don't because no run's a bad run.
I get really shitty if I haven't been exercising, like really unbelievably uncomfortable, and I just have to go and do something. And I have a personal trainer that I go and see once a week, and he's the person that gets to yell at me and I get shitty at, because if it's a friend or it's a partner or a colleague or anything else, I won't listen to them because I need this one person. I finally found one person who I will actually listen to when it comes to this stuff. And he rides me real hard.
Yeah, he does.
No, he doesn't.
I'm waiting for that.
Not at all.
So has your routine changed since you've opened up your marriage?
Yeah, because I need that me time, that quiet time to actually just get away from everybody and everything. And if I don't get it, I get antsy.
So is it more about that and less about your appearance, or is it a bit of both?
It's both. Now that I've gotten to where I'm happy, it's definitely about being by myself
Okay.
and exercising. Before that, it was both.
Tune in next time for the conclusion of What the Hell is Wrong with Us with Blue Steel, Mrs. Atom, the Lady, and me, your host, Mr. Atom.
Well done.
Thanks. I try. So next week we'll post the rest of this one. And until then, you can email us at theatomsoflove@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at By the By Podcast, on our website, www.bytheby.com.au, and on the Facebooks. It's something Facebook.
By the By Podcast.
By the By Podcast, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for joining us this week.
Bye.